hopefully, like 20% less chance of audio failure because I'm an idiot, but probably about 2% more disconnects because my internet is still crap. I've made videos like this on my channel, on my YouTube channel anyway, very early on, and this goes back to when I was a kid. I had a lot of video game traditions of sorts, like playing Bomberman during the Christmas break and stuff. One of the big ones was when I was in school, every summer, first day of summer break, I would play Mega Man 8. Now, I've already done that for the channel. And the only reason I would ever really want to double dip, especially that particular game, would be, say, if Capcom ever got a brain and released the good version of Mega Man 8 from the Saturn, which had additional bosses and a significantly better soundtrack. Just go look up Tengu Man's theme, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, as you can tell from my background, I'm something of a fan of Mega Man 7. So, and I'm about to regret saying this, we're going to try and play through Mega Man 7 in one sitting. Which I'm a little nervous about. It's been a long time since I've done that. And I'm going to try and grab as much stuff in-game as I possibly can. But, Mega Man 7 is not only my favorite original Mega Man game, which I know is kind of a controversial opinion. It's actually the... let me just get my brain to work around words here. It was the game I rented the very most back when I was a kid. It was either this, or A Link to the Past, or Donkey Kong Country 2. But it was usually this game, and I can still picture the box art in my head, and it was so cool, and honestly, I'm sad I don't have a physical copy of this. But this game is typically looked down on by Mega Man purists, and the reason is, well, first of all, it's not on the NES like the previous ones. That's kind of a big thing for people. But a lot of it has to do with just how they translated movement and stuff, because in this game, it feels like the movement isn't quite as spot on. Like, it feels like Mega Man should be able to jump a little bit further. And I love that helmet switch. I actually recently played a hack of this where you played as Bass and they gave him Zero's helmet. That was kind of funny. But Mega Man feels like he should be able to jump a little further, and he has a little bit more recoil. If I recall, he has something like 6 less health than in the NES games, and in turn he has less weapon ammo as well, because your meters just don't have quite as many little energy pips in it. And that's kind of unfortunate, but really everything else about this game I just really love. Like, I think this sprite work in this is the best Mega Man has ever looked. Because after this, it was Mega Man 8, which, I've said this before, I'll say it again, he looks like a little girl in cosplay as Mega Man. And the sound effects just work. When he jumps, he makes like a clanking sound that actually legitimately sounds like clanking. You know, relative to 16-bit hardware, of course, but still. This is probably my favorite Mega Man game. Like, the only other Mega Man game I think comes close would be X2, and X2 is not as good as the first X game. I'm willing to admit that, but I just like X2 better. Because again, I just rented it more because no one had the original. This game, speaking of Mega Man X, was actually released a little after Mega Man X and was congruent with X2, and you can kind of tell that with the design sensibilities, because of course, first of all, we have an intro stage. Although, it has less reason to be here than in Mega Man X. In this one, it's mostly for exposition, where they don't really need it, because, you know, Mega Man put Wily in jail at the end of 6, finally, and now he's broken out because he had 8 Robot Masters hidden up his sleeve. Also, here's Mega Man's good friend Bass being introduced for the first time. Also, like Mega Man's sprite, this is the best Bass has ever looked, because after this, he looks all, like, hunched over and stuff. Whereas in this game, he looks tall, he looks almost noble, in a sense. I really love Bass's sprite in this game. Not Bass, by the way, Bass. Don't let Mega Man 8 trick you like that. But he's our new bestest friend who's been taking care of things while we were, I don't know, riding the train from capturing Wily previously, maybe? I don't know. Maybe we were enjoying royalties from Mega Man, or Mega Man X. Now, new to the entire Mega Man series, or at least the core console experience, is instead of 8 Robot Masters, which you could access with a code, instead we only get 4 at the start. Then we get an interlude level, and then we get the other 4. The thing about these 4 and the later 4 is, unlike later Mega Man games, where there's a perfect weapon weakness loop, this one has 2 loops, and they don't loop perfectly. So Cloudman here is strong to Junkman, and Junkman is strong to Freezeman. Freezeman is not strong to this guy, though. He's kind of a knockoff weakness to this guy. Rather, this guy's weakness is in the second set of Robot Masters. So you can kind of scrub through claiming this guy's the weakness to this guy, but it's not really true. But this guy is strong to Cloudman, so it does kind of sort of half loop. And if you did have access to all 8 Robot Masters from the start, you could in fact get a perfect loop going, but that doesn't really work in this game. Now, I want to try and get as many different power-ups and things as I possibly can. Unfortunately, to do that, we're going to have to do some backtracking, because the only way to not have to do backtracking, as I would foresee, is to start with Freezeman. He is very, very difficult to do without his weakness weapon. So we're going to go with Cloudman because he's the easy boss. Also, it should be noted, he has an uneven number of digits. One hand he's got 4 fingers, the next he has 5. And I really love this level. This was always, I don't want to say it was always my favorite level, but it's just something about this. I remember playing this level. This was the first Mega Man level I selected back in the day. I remember this. And when I was a kid, I was terrible at Mega Man. I never beat any of the Robot Masters in any Mega Man game. I have quite fond memories of renting this game frequently. And it would come with like a photocopied manual, which is actually illegal. There's laws against photocopying manuals, because they could not get a law preventing rentals, so they just kind of took whatever legal precedent they could against rental shops, which was you can't copy our manuals. But the place I went to did that, and there were, of course, all the passwords of anyone who ever rented it. So I couldn't beat any of the Robot Masters, so instead, delay and jumps, because kind of awkward port, but I remember not being able to beat the Robot Masters, so I just looked through all the codes and experimented with them, and I wanted to see, you know, who got all the really cool weapons, and like what did they do and stuff. And to this day, my favorite weapon in this game is the super armor you can get, and it's not even all that good. It makes you big, it makes you cumbersome, but it's still something that's I'm just really nostalgic about. Like I remember it's like, oh, this password doesn't have the jetpack armor, I don't care. Nope, nope, nope. Yes, this one. Okay, I'm gonna play these levels, and I'm not gonna get anywhere because the boss is already defeated, but I love this armor, and I'm just gonna jetpack around, and it's gonna be awesome. And that was mostly my Mega Man 7 experience when I was a kid. And the thing is, Cloudman is once again, not wanting to jump on that platform, weird. But Cloudman is not a hard boss. He's very easy, but you have to know how to slide. Unless you have his weakness, in which case he's ridiculously easy. And the bosses in this game are peculiar like that. Like, every Mega Man game's kind of like that, where if you hit them with their weakness, it sort of modifies their behavior a little. But in this game, they take a ridiculously simple pattern after you hit them. Like, Cloudman just tries to fly up into the air after you hit him, so you can actually juggle him. And this is why you take this level after Freezeman, because Freezeman, you can freeze it instead of ice, or instead of water, you get snow. Now you can see there's a little platform up there. So we're gonna activate our buddy Rush to go up here and get this life. But this is not what we're up here for. Oh, ooh, okay, I screwed that up. Again, it's been a while. I'm also not used to the controls on this collection, because what you'd think is the pause button is actually the not the pause button. And I died again. I don't care. I've got all night. Screw it. But we need to go up there to collect a thing, which alone is a completely useless thing. But together with other things, it becomes quite useful. Again, it's easier if you have the freeze cracker, because you can hit the guy who made it rain, and instead he makes it snow and those invisible platforms are covered in ice. I don't recall if those actually get like an icy, slippery physics sort of thing going on with it, though. I just know they become more visible. And there are bolts dropping around, which you can sell to a store for, well, they're basically currency. You can exchange them at a store, and in turn, you can buy stuff. But most of the stuff you can buy is more or less completely useless. Okay, so that's the letter U. And what we're actually trying to do is spell out our buddy Rush's name, because if we can spell out Rush's name, we get a power-up featuring Rush, which is awesome. I don't know where that is, so I'm going to go up here. We're just going to jump. Ah! They didn't line that up. That's weird. Man, it's been forever since I played this game. But this is the easy level, so this is not inspiring confidence. I'm sucking this bad, but you know, it's all about learning and nostalgia. I want to re-experience a game I'm quite fond of, even though this is not the particular version I'm fond of or memorative of. I do not have a Super Nintendo card of this. I would love to get one, though. I will say Legacy Collection 2, even though they had to split it into two for reasons, I appreciate it better than that terrible Anniversary Collection on the GameCube. But that's because they swapped the jump and shoot buttons. And that, if you don't have perspective on it, that doesn't sound like a big thing, since, you know, you're not running with the original controller, what do you know? But you don't really think about it much, but every platformer always has the jump and the attack buttons in the exact same spots. Like, every one of them, and when they swap, it just feels so wrong. Okay, so there's a ladder up here, we're gonna go get that. Also, these red guys, I like their design, but they're annoying, because you can destroy them either by shooting their head or their legs. If you shoot their legs, their head grows a helicopter and starts chasing you. And that was one of the few things Mega Man 8 decided to take from this game, was just that terrible design. Here's my favorite character, Proto Man! Yeah! Okay, we can run into this guy 3 times in the game, and when I was a kid, I only ran into him here. It wasn't until I was like 15 did I learn where the other locations were. Okay, I shouldn't phrase it like that, because I know where one of the other locations was, but he doesn't show up there until you visit him in the second location, and that location is bullshit. And, well, we'll get there and I'll show you what I mean by that, but... Okay, now we've got instant drops, and we got these guys which will pull and push you, which makes things awkward. Oh yeah, that's another difference between this and the NES Mega Man's, is your Buster, both regular and charge shots, do less damage. And the only Mega Man game in the classic series I know that does less damage for the Mega Buster is 8. This is Cloud Man. He's the easy robot master, so watch me completely cock this up. So his whole thing is he controls lightning and weather and stuff. Jump, shoot. And he's invincible when he's charged with lightning, which makes him annoying. Really, this guy is an exercise in, he's the easy robot master, so what you need to do is go at him with your Buster, and he's created sort of as a tutorial so you can learn to both shoot, jump, and slide, because he messes with the weather to try and push you off for instant death. But other than that, he's not that big a deal, really. But if you're fighting him with only Buster, it's important you try and keep him towards the center of the platform, because he can... Again, he can push you off with this rain, and if he's close to you, that doesn't exactly give you a lot of room to maneuver, and that actually becomes kind of a problem. And then, of course, classic Mega Man style, you have to get to the center of the room and jump. Although Mega Man does that normally. I just like to do it for fun. That is the classic bad box art Mega Man look. Now, this is the North American version of this game, as obvious by the fact you're talking to Dr. Light. And the thing is, the Japanese version, as I understand, every weapon explanation scene in the Japanese version actually has a different character talking to Mega Man. And usually it sort of turns into like a jokey skit, whereas this is just pure information and kind of boring. Okay, so we've cleared Cloudman, which means we can now take on Junkman, which I really love this guy's design. He just looks menacing, and he can be kind of scary if you don't have his weakness. If you do, he's not that big a deal. But I only have 0 lives, so we're not going to risk it, and we're just going to die. Just for the sake of having more lives, because sensibility. Let's go fight Junkman proper now. Now, unfortunately, it's because of the way Junkman's stage is designed that we're going to have to backtrack to collect everything in this game. And I wouldn't even be bothered by having to come back and backtrack if it wasn't something I actually legitimately wanted. Like, I would just skip it, but I want it because it's important to me. And we collect more bolts so we can buy things later, but we don't need to. Elevator sequence! Because every game ever needs an elevator sequence. Nothing else, it's free health and money, and we get to see more Mets. I don't think that lava or molten metal or whatever it is kills you instantly, but I don't want to test that. Oop. Jump. Alright. Now, you'll notice we got this little doohickey here. Hit with some lightning, and suddenly stuff starts happening. Yeah. And we can take a shortcut up. Now, it's kind of unwise to waste it here just because this is the boss of this level's weakness, but at the same time, you kind of need it if you're collecting everything. Now, if I recall, this is the last one, so I want to climb up here. And depending on which side you hit that generator from, they will actually come up or down differently. So this is going up on the right and down on the left. It will actually go the other way if you hit it from the other side. And we just got Rush Jet, so Rush is going to be more useful now than ever. We could use Rush Jet right about now, I think. Also, this is basically a scene from A New Hope. I think that's what that creature design is referencing. Is it's just like a periscope eye underneath a giant vat of junk. Alternate path here. We don't have what we need to get there. Okay, so let's go this way. Ah, yeah. I remember this. This area is kind of annoying. Even more so if you don't have Rush. Because these guys get like a little compacted piece of metal that falls on them, then they get angry and start shooting at you. Now the nice thing about Thunder Bolt or whatever it is not only is it really good at powering up electric generators and killing this guy, it's good against a couple bosses, and it's just genuinely a good alternative to just your Buster, because your Buster's really crap in this game. I've genuinely never seen him do that, and that's because I've never gotten to that point. See, this is what this fight turns into when you have his weakness. I kind of said this, when you hit them with their weaknesses, it becomes ridiculous. Whoop. Dead. And now we get probably one of the most useful weapons in all of Mega Man history. And that is the almighty Junk Shield. Because every Mega Man game needs a proper shield for it to be a proper Mega Man game. It's just a rule. But the Junk Shield is useful because not only can it take several hits, but unlike a lot of other Mega Man shields, you can actually walk around while using it. And you can just fire it off if you want. Like, Junk Shield is not only the most useful shield in Mega Man, it might be one of the most useful weapons in Mega Man. And I think that's another thing Mega Man 7 doesn't get enough credit for, is it had some pretty fantastic weapons. Not all of them, mind you. You've got, like, what is it, Wild Coil, which is kind of awkward, and Bubble Wrap, or whatever it is, which sucks. Also, Freeze Man, one of the coolest Robot Masters, and easily the best Ice Robot Master, and I didn't even realize I was making an ice joke, but he is, in fact, the coolest. I really freaking love Freeze Man. But, I mean, what competition did he have, realistically speaking? He had Blizzard Man, which was just a giant snowball with, you know, skis, so, I mean, I guess he's got camp factor. You've got Frost Man, who was a big, like, giant child doofus character with one of the most awkward aiming weapons ever. Like, seriously, you were supposed to hit a flying guy with an icicle that drops to the ground. Forget that nonsense. Although Mega Man 8 had some terrible weapons, although I've talked about that on my channel. And other than that, I guess you had Iceman, which I respect Iceman, but he was definitely not one of the better designs. He was one of those early kind of really sort of simple, goofy, campy ones. Okay, I think we're going to want Rush Jet here just to save us some grief. And also, fantastic music. Like, this whole game in general just has fantastic music. Okay, I gotta kill this guy, because we want to get up there. Now, the thing is, that's an ice platform. And ice platforms, as you could probably surmise, collapse under your weight. And we need that, and if we don't do this properly, we're not going to get that. And that's annoying. Okay. Whoops. No, Rush, that's not what I want. Okay. Okay, so he will land on those platforms. Okay. So, let's try something. Because I know you can just jump from this side to this side, but it's a little bit iffy. Yeah, there we go. Rush Jet, it's ridiculously useful in this level. Now, you're probably wondering why we're collecting letters. Well, the letters spell out Rush, and when we get all the parts to Rush, we get to build the Rush Super Armor, which not as useful as it would indicate, but it's... I mentioned it earlier, it's one of my favorites. Also, oh, look at that background. Super Nintendo had some just gorgeous backgrounds. Whoops. Come on, Rush, work with me, man. Don't make me trade you in for Tango. Tango needed to be in more games. It's a cat who's a buzzsaw. It's awesome. And we're just going to skip all that and get Rush Search. Yeah! Alright. Now, we gotta time this right. Oh, that was scary. Well, we made it. Now, we'll use this because more damage. This guy actually has more attacks than the other one. He'll summon those things. And we could just Rush Quill up that ladder right now, but he is guarding that energy can, which will restore our health whenever we want to use it. So it's useful to collect those. And again, that jump's a little awkward with that spike pit, so I'm just going to take the easy bet and take Rush. Again, Rush Jet, because Rush Jet is good. And these guys... This one actually could probably hit me, though, so I'm gonna... And then if I recall, and I don't know why you'd ever know this, but if I recall, if you use Rush right about here... This is the new Rush ability we've got. I know somewhere around here there's a thing we can use for Rush. And I'm not going to let it go because it's a special important thing. You can only get here or you have to spend stupid numbers of bolts for, and it's useful. So I'm fine with just spamming Rush around here. Although Rush is kind of useless. He'll sometimes just pick up random stuff. Sometimes he'll dig up a bomb because reasons. Yep, that was right about where. He's barking, so he found something good. Or he found a bomb. He does that sometimes. Rush is... He's special. There we go. Special item. This will let us exit any level we've already cleared. Now, it's not super useful here, because we haven't cleared the level yet. But it means that we can go get that item we missed earlier now. Also, he's just got such a cool entrance. And if you, to prove how awesome he is, if you run in here with a charged weapon like you might with other Robot Masters because you want to, start the fight off on the right foot, he'll just sit there and taunt you until you use it and he'll jump. I'm pretty sure you can't actually hit him with your initial charge. And again, we're getting a ridiculously useful weapon. This is a multi-directional firing ice weapon that when it comes into contact with any solid object, breaks into further weapons. The Freeze Cracker is awesome. Oh, man, now I'm starting to remember this game. Okay, so we've got the Freeze Cracker, which means we can now go back to Junkman stage and get the important thing we missed because we didn't have Freeze Cracker. Okay, Junkman. I really like Junkman's theme. I think he's probably, in terms of physical stature, the most imposing Robot Master in this, because he's easily the biggest. Outside of Gutsman, who shows up kind of as a weird cameo. I don't care, do all the damage you want. I can waste weaponry now! Junk Shield, yeah! Look at how awesome Junk Shield is. It's just, like, the greatest. And people make fun of Mega Man 7. They don't know what they're missing. They're too busy overhyping the Metal Blade, which, yeah, Metal Blade's okay, but, I mean, come on, it's done to death. Pick a different weapon to idolize. Okay. Now, you'll probably remember a alternate path we missed, because we couldn't go that way. That's because we needed this. Because now we can freeze this and get the S. And, since we have the exit, we can exit. So now we gotta go do Burstman, which is, of the first 4 Robot Masters, the one I'm probably the most worried about. Because even though I don't have his weakness doesn't show up until the second round of Robot Masters, but still, while I have his first round quote-unquote weakness, I just do not like this boss, and this boss can one-shot you, which is scary. Also, again, backgrounds, just really cool backgrounds. But, you'll notice a theme with this level. There's lots of spikes. They can all instant kill you. This is basically the, what's his name? The Bubble Man level. In fact, that's what Burstman is. He blows bubbles at you, even has a bubble wand installed in his head. Another energy tank, which we need for later. Whoop! Also, I like these big floaty blue guys. They're a nice design. This game just had fantastic enemy design. Like, the Sniper Joes in this game. The best Sniper Joes. In fact, I still say they're some of the nicest sprites on the system. Right there, like Friedan from Illusion of Gaia. And again, Rush being useful. I don't give Rush enough credit. I really don't. And I guess I'll use the Junk Shield, because Junk Shield. Although that said, it will not work against a shielded Met. Because, you know, it can't be almighty. Okay, now if I recall, to do really good damage, you need Thunderbolt on this guy. Because Thunderbolt is, again, it's use your Buster or use the Thunderbolt, really. It's your offensive option, really. If I recall, this guy will do that, yep, and then he'll jump back. There we go. And we're immediately going to want to take the left side of the screen, because the screen starts scrolling upwards because buoyancy is now a thing. And the right side of the screen starts filling with spikes. Which, if you don't know they're there, there's a good chance you'll die, especially if you jump. Because the buoyancy will take you from the top of the screen before you can even scroll stuff on. You'll just be dead and you'll never know what happened. Okay. I don't need Rush. I'll just use this. Now, if you jump in this, even if the water's at its highest point, of course, they try to approximate gravity, so you'll actually go underwater really deep and probably still end up eating spikes. So you really just want to slowly nudge your way in there. And I think the next room's where Rush will be useful again. Yup. Because, welcome back to Mega Man, the game that has invisible blocks that show up out of nowhere. Because that's the thing people liked. Except it wasn't. But it doesn't matter. Because Rush Jet. Just reminds me of Mega Man 2 with the Flame Man stage. Yeah, we've got this giant pit of sadness and invisible, temporary appearing platforms. Yeah, we have a thing that could let you skip it, but, we gotta kill another enemy before you do that. Oh, okay, we got over there. And that's the last plate we need, because we just spelled out Rush. And we get, what was at least Child Me's favorite item in all of Mega Man, and also probably gaming. The Super Adapter. Hold on, we gotta get to an actual piece of land. There we go. So, if you played Mega Man 6, you're probably familiar with the Super Armors. They were a set of armor, two sets of armor actually. They could let you throw your fist really powerfully and allow you to use a jetpack. Well, fist and jetpack. Now, the jetpack in this game is actually really crap. It's literally a double jump, and unfortunately, you can't slide with it, so it's really not as good as Child Me would like to think. But it's still something that I like to use all the time, just because nostalgia. Now again, we don't have this guy's actual weakness, because, well, we don't have it yet, but this kind of approximates a weakness for him. And it does sort of... Oh! Yeah, welcome to this guy. Oh, crap. Now, the problem is, those bubbles can then throw you into the ceiling. And if those bubbles do throw you into the ceiling, you're instantly dead, because Bubble Man. Bubble Man was dumb in a lot of ways, but he knew how to instant kill an enemy by encasing him in a bubble and throwing him into the ceiling. And Burst Man, well, he's not much better. Okay, now we finished the first 4 Robot Masters, which means we unlocked an interstitial stage that we have to play before we can continue. And this is the Danger Wrap, one of the most useless weapons in the game. It throws a bubble in front of you that has a bomb inside of it. And if you hold down while using it, you can just drop a bomb in front of you. And I have never seen a use for it. Yeah, I mean, you use it against Cloudman. I think you can use it against the the boss for the next stage we're about to play. And I think that's about everything that's weak to it. So, not much actual use out of this weapon. Like, I like to tout this game as having some really good weapons. Danger Wrap ain't one of them. But... plot. It's a thing that's happening, and I'm taking a sip of water and coughing. But, excuse me. The Robot Museum's under attack, so we gotta go rescue deactivated robots. Because someone thought it would be a good idea to build a monument to how Mega Man is so awesome. Because it's literally just a museum containing all the robots Mega Man beat prior. Also, the hedges look like Mets, and the music is a remix of Guts Man's theme and Flame Man's theme. It sounds awesome. Here's Snake Man. I quite like Snake Man. There's Plant Man in the background. There's this guy. Yeah. There's Flame Man in the background. One destroyed case, mind you. Pharaoh Man looking awesome. Flame Man keeping it classic. Now there's Guts Man. And that would indicate one tube has been broken. But if you look in the background, there's 2 more. It's almost as if this game was indicating that there would be more Robot Masters used in the future. Except if you believe this Legacy Collection, in which case that's non-canon, because that only happened in the Saturn version. Which is why you get the Saturn version of Mega Man 8. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's still Mega Man 8. This is such an awkward weapon to aim with, but it's so good against this boss. There we go. You can kind of use the Thunderbolt weapon against him. That's actually pretty useful too, but Danger Wrap's really it, which at least gives Danger Wrap a reason to exist. Yes, yes, Wily has got 4 more robots. Go defeat them. I think I can do that. Okay, now, meet the next 4 Robot Masters. We got Slash Man, whose design would be reused by the Mega Man series like 4 more times. Shade Man, who's actually got a really cool design. Turbo Man, who's pretty alright. And Slinky Man, who is annoying as all hell, because his design is stupid. Now, as I said, the the weaknesses don't loop properly, because Burst Man's good against Cloud Man, is good against Junk Man, is good against Freeze Man, but it does not work in favor of taking out Burst Man. Instead, Freeze Man's actually good against Slash Man. Originally, they're supposed to make it clear Slash Man's actually weak to Turbo Man, but it's not true. Burst Man is weak to Turbo Man. So you go Freeze Man to Slash Man to Slinky Man to Shade Man to Turbo Man to Burst Man. But you can't do that unless you have all 4 unlocked. And we're going to go straight to Slash Man because, again, we have his weakness already. And it's basically Wolverine, the Mega Man character. And this level has one thing we can go collect, so we're going to try and collect it. Now, unfortunately, it's kind of hard to collect without another weapon. It's doable, it's just a little tricky to figure out where you have to do it. I'm just going to try and approximate off memory. Now again, I can skip all this because I have this. This one I can't skip, but it's not exactly hard. And also, Jetpack is just awesome. And we can get upgrades for this. We can get a thing that'll make our Rocket Punch home in on enemies. And also, look at those cool, like, birds in the background. They're just so pretty. This game just makes me happy. I love this game. Alright, so we're gonna go all Jurassic Park on here and ride on a dinosaur. And it's gonna get even more Jurassic Park before we're done. Unfortunately, Jeff Goldblum could not make it. I did actually arrange for him to be here. Unfortunately, he had prior plans. It's a shame, but, you know. Whoa! Misjudged that jump. And unfortunately, that takes us back to the beginning, because we were right short of that checkpoint. But the nice thing is we don't have to go and try and grab that energy tank again, because it's already gone. And if you collect it, it's like lives. If you collect it, it's already gone. Unless you fail the level, in which case it'll respawn. And we already have like 3 energy tanks, which means I think we can carry 1 more and a weapon can, which... There's not a lot of need for a weapon can ever, which all that does is upgrade it, refills all your weapon energy. And there's very few cases where you'll be using every single weapon at once. You could use it in the last areas, and that's really the only place that would justify needing to restore all your weapons at once, because of course, as it's a Mega Man game, you run through like that boss gauntlet where you run into every enemy again, so having their weaknesses helps. But there's no real need to ever have a weapon can. And again, that's just a beautiful sprite. That's one I'm quite personally fond of. Oh, and we want to equip Thunderbolt for this guy, because it just got a little more Jurassic Park up in here. And we just gotta shoot this guy a bunch. And once we shoot this guy a bunch, he'll leave us alone. I genuinely don't know why people hate this game as much as they do. It's literally just, it's not the NES ones. It's like, yeah, but I like it better. Maybe it's because I didn't have an NES. Okay, now here's where there's a thing we can go collect. And without a specific tool, it's a little tricky to go and get it. But we'll try. I just have to try and remember where specifically it is. I think it's about here. Nope. Might be here. Ow. Ow. I'll take that damage, thank you. Come on, where is it? I know what I can do. Nope. Okay, screw it. I'll come back later. Again, it's not something that's really necessary. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a use for the actual thing we're trying to collect, but I want to collect everything, so. But it's literally just a thing that saves you from pits every now and then. You have to recharge it. Now, this guy's weak to freeze, which is good because we have freeze. And it's multi-directional, which is great because this guy's fast. So even if we miss, there's a good chance he'll get hit by it. And he suddenly turned to Sonic the Hedgehog because reasons. And this is where things get a little tricky, because if those blobs land on you, you can't attack. And if you walk on the splatter they leave, you can't jump. And you can't attack him while he's doing that. So he's actually a really scary enemy. I think I can take one more hit before bad things happen. So we're gonna try and see if we can get through this without using an energy tank. Oh, that's not good. Ooh! Okay, this is... Oh, that's not good. Okay, we're gonna energy tank it. Screw it. I can buy more later. You can kind of wiggle out of it, but it's really iffy whether or not you can actually make it out, especially considering how fast he is and that he homes in on you a little bit. But we just got the Slash Claw, which is one of the more awkward weapons in the game. Like, it has use because it does a lot of damage, but it's basically a sword. So, in order to make effective use out of it, you basically have to be standing in your enemy, which is not exactly great. Yeah, limited range. That's the biggest issue right here. But you get to look kind of olive-ish when you wear it, so there's that. Okay, so we'll go fight Slinky Man next. And Slinky Man has one collectible in his area as well, so we can go grab that. And like the Robot Museum, which showed kind of a hint at things to come, so in fact does this stage. And I'll show that off when we get there. Now, that's kind of one thing I don't like about the design of this game necessarily, is it feels like they put an importance on collecting the super adapter parts in the first half of the game, right? And after that, they kind of go out of their way to try and make it designed in such a way that the super adapter form is really not all that useful. So you got all these springs that just completely mess with your super adapter, and you can't high jump off these things if you've got the super adapter. So there's just lots of nonsense that really just makes me question, you know, did you want me to actually collect this thing or not? I mean, I like it because it was a big part of my childhood, but seriously, make your levels a little bit more catered to it if you really want to put an emphasis on it or something. Feels like you're punishing me a little bit. I'm sure there's a story reason there's Mega Man specs in the background in this level. I don't know what it is. There's another life. Alright, here it is. And I noticed in the background there's like a little planet and like space over there. And then there's a planet over here. And then, oh, what's that on the right in the background? That's Bleeding Astro Man. So yes, again, Mega Man 7 predicting Mega Man 8 beforehand. Although if you want to technically make it canon because it's referencing Mega Man 8 on the Saturn, then I guess it would be better to refer to it as it referencing Mega Man and Base and forgetting those extra tubes that were broken into, I guess. Because, I don't know, Capcom seems to want to forget Mega Man 8 on the Saturn ever existed, and that was the better version. A better soundtrack. Okay, these things change direction when you jump on them. And it does that. Now this thing actually, as I understand, has physics. Because I've actually seen that plate that we just knocked on that I'm currently standing on. I've seen that on the other side of the room sometimes. So there's... that was bound to happen. There's actual physics involved in that for some reason. Okay, let's go, Rush. This level is actually really not particularly difficult or short, or long, rather. Because we're pretty much in the second to last area right now. There's like the area before the boss, and then there's the boss, and then we've just covered the entire area. Okay, that's the Hyperbolts. We haven't exactly gotten to a point where anyone's needed to explain it to us, because we haven't visited the store yet. But when you go to the store, the Hyperbolt allows you to make or expand the store's range, as well as get cheaper deals on stuff. And again, pretty much everything in the store that's of value you can just find in the wild, so outside of restocking on like energy tanks or lives, there's not really much of a reason to pick it up outside of completion. But I'm trying to collect all the major stuff, so I collect it. Besides, if I really need to buy a bunch of lives or like energy cans or something, it's not horrible to have. Sorry, Joe, your sprite is very nice, but no thank you. I can't slip past him. Okay, now this is really tricky, but we're gonna try and juggle Springman here, because you can, but the timing on it is so precise. Because you kind of have to hit him as he's jumping midway through his animation, when he's recovering. So right about here. Right about here. Nope. But he basically just does this, so juggled or not, he's not exactly hard. But this isn't his true weakness. His true weakness is, of course, stairs, because he's just a big slinky with feet for some reason. He's one of the lamer robot masters, I think. There we go. Done. So yeah, we just got Wild Coil, which is a weapon I'm not sure about other people, but I, for the longest time, didn't know how to actually use it. It wasn't until Legacy Collection 2 came out with its challenges, which I don't care about for achievements or anything, but for Mega Man 7, I wanted to complete all the challenges, and I'm not even sure if I'm still standing, but I used to be top ranked on the Xbox One leaderboards on this game, but the challenges made me actually have to understand how this is, because he just says, charge them to make them jump higher. That's not actually true. You have to charge them and then hold, I believe it's up, and then your springs will go super far. I gotta go fight Shademan. Now, Shademan has an Easter egg with it, and we're actually gonna have to enter this guy's stage twice, but I'm not gonna go with the Easter egg. And the Easter egg is, if you hold down, I want to say select, when you select his stage, the level will play the first level to Super Ghouls and Ghosts. But the thing is, Shademan has way better music than Super Ghouls and Ghosts. So no thanks. Like, it's just kind of eerie and stuff. Like, I have to play it with my TV on mute and stuff, just so my mic doesn't pick it up, but oh god, this level's so awesome. Oh, and there's zombies, because of course there's zombies. This level I recall being really long, and there's actually like I said, we're gonna have to come back here later, but there's actually like a split in the level. And because of the order we've done the levels in, we can only take advantage of one of the splits. So, I think in order to take the split we want, I have to fight the mini-boss the easy way, as opposed to the hard way. Bubble Bats. Now this area is, again, not exactly made for Super Mega Man because we can't slide. We're bigger, our sprite's bigger, and our jumps are just a little bit less good. Okay. I want Thunderbolt for the mini-boss. Now there's two ways you can fight this mini-boss. You can shoot him, or you can wait for him to open up and then shoot him. And I believe we want to shoot him while he's closed, because depending on when you kill him will dictate when the way you leave the level. So we actually just have to wait here. And it's this move that I hate, the peas, the stupid peas that just fire endlessly and randomly. Yeah, we want to go this way. Oh, go away, you stupid zombies. If I recall, if you take them out with something a little less powerful, they'll just sort of slowly fall apart, and they'll walk around without heads and stuff. So they're definitely kind of creepy. These enemies are really neat, and they actually react to the environment, which is cool. They're little knights here, but later they might not be. And it all depends on how the stage works out. I think we want to go this way. Look at these werewolf guys. And they're tough as werewolves. But then the moon goes away and suddenly they're the night guys again. Enemies in this game are cool. They're also a lot easier to kill when they're not werewolves. So it's best to kill them earlier if you can. Alright, yep, this is the room we want. Also, notice how in the background, about halfway up on these panes of glass, it kind of looks like Bass's head. I wonder if that's implying something. Not so subtle hint. Okay, now we gotta call our old buddy Rush. Search our old villain Wily. Come on, do a thing. Do a thing, do a thing, do a thing. And don't blow me up with a bomb, please. Energy balancer, okay. That is a useful item. Basically, no matter what we have equipped, if we have full energy on something, we pick up another energy item, it will send that energy to our lowest energied weapon, I believe. Now, this is rather peculiar about this game and the Anniversary Collection. It's actually censored. And it's right here. Bass says, "Darn, I was careless." In the original Super Nintendo version, he says, "Damn, I was careless." And it's a little peculiar that they'd censor that, especially considering this is supposed to be a faithful port. The Mega Man X games did that as well. X would often exclaim, "Damn," especially in X3, I believe. He says it like 2 or 3 times. So it's weird they censor that. And I don't think it's this particular version, but the Anniversary Collection on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, that version was also censored because they cut the staff credits animation, which had lots of Mode 7 nonsense. But, no, we're a team, Bass. You're my bestest friend ever. We're gonna throw a party. It's gonna be great. So we're gonna go send him to our creator, Dr. Light, who's gonna fix him up while we fight the boss with Slinkies. Yippee Skippy. Okay. Now this guy, he's kind of got a goofy but kind of cool in its campiness design. He's a vampire. If I recall, he can turn you to stone. I think he can do that. And he can also grab you and start leeching health from you if he does that. So don't get hit by that, most importantly. He's got his Noise Crush attack, which is really scary. And, well, if he does that in a certain animation, you can actually lock the game up. So you really don't want to get hit by that attack. And he's dead. But I always liked this level. This game in general had nice variants to its levels. Like, you got a horror level, you got Jurassic Park, you got like a science lab, you got a level in the sky, ice level. It's just got nice variants, and not just ice, fire, grass, whatever. They at least give you a certain variance to it, which is appreciated. Alright, yes, we got Noise Crash, plus we can charge it by shooting it off a wall, echolocation style. And now we're about to go into an area I'm not terribly enthused about because it's terrible. Dear Lord. Alright, this is Turbo Man. He's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, I made an invite. He couldn't come, unfortunately. He was going to read some Jingle All the Way lines for us. But, this level's kind of awkward. First of all, it starts with a mini-boss. Not a hard mini-boss or anything. What's interesting is if you hit this guy with Noise Crush, he'll actually hold his head in pain. Like, the noise is just too much for him to handle, even though he's driving a giant, very loud vehicle. But, Thunderbolt, again, just ridiculously good weapon. Now, if we screw up the next area, we might run into him again real quick. Okay, now here's where things get a little tricky. You see these tires up on the roof? They're bouncy. That makes things a little awkward. Super adapter can't get through there, but it'll be useful for... Crap. Yeah, I just hate these tires. Because there's a portion where if one doesn't ricochet you into a pit of spikes, it'll ricochet you into a hole where you have to fight another one of these guys. And I'm pretty sure they respawn. So it's a thing that happens a lot. You don't have to use super adapters, double jump or anything, but it's just something that makes me feel a little bit more secure, I guess. Because double jump is better than not double jump. But this level's basically just a series of traps and mini-bosses, and the thing is, the traps aren't exactly that great. This level I don't like all that much. Although I never realized that big pink wheel in the background said turbo. Okay, let's try Rush Jet, because experimentation. Okay, that one got me through that. That's not a problem. Now the problem is, you'll see those big horizontal tires after this enemy. Past that little gold girder thing. Yeah, if we fall in that, we have to fight one of those guys. And we have to travel back to here from below. So we really don't want to land in there. Rush Jet. Yes! Okay, I don't care I took damage. Worth it. Okay, now this level, again, kind of features an awkward spot. It's, I believe it's right over there, so we're going to try and super adapter our way up. Okay. Now, that Wily poster, I mean, I guess there's a certain level of logic to dig where Wily's face is, I guess. Here, there's not a lot of logic to it. It's just, there's a thing here. Dig. Yep, I know there's a thing there. You gonna do something about it? No, you're not. Rush is kind of useless sometimes. Even when he's supposed to do something useful. Try again. Yep, I know there's a thing there. Gonna try again. Might be the other one, because it might be he's sensing something else. Because I know there is another thing. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, we gotta go down one floor. No big deal. And this guy's here. Again, it has been a while since I played this game. Okay, try it here. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if Rush was just not digging because he's an idiot. He does that sometimes too. There's our Super Rocket Punch. Basically, this takes our Super Form's Rocket Punch. And I don't think I'll show it here, but it shoots it out further and it makes it homing. But we're not done yet. Now remember that easy to spot ladder that led us to Proto Man? I don't know how anyone figured this out. I didn't learn this until I was 15 and I read it off the Mega Man homepage. Yeah, I know, thanks Proto. Now the thing is, I found the third area he shows up in, but he doesn't show up until you've seen him twice. And I don't think he shows up there until you visit him in Cloudman stage. But how the hell would anyone find that? Like, seriously, I have no idea. Now, we could use Freeze Cracker to freeze these things, but there's not a lot of point because a lot of these are actually timed really, really well. I'm doing a really poor showing of that, but they are. And if we stick to the right side, there's an energy tank. We don't want it because those things are literally from Quickman stage from Mega Man 2. They will kill you instantly. And I think there's one other place in the game where you'll run into those. We're out of Thunderbolts. I guess Slash Claw. Sure, why not? Yeah, this part kind of sucks. Because basically we just gotta stab this guy in the face a bunch of times. And he's got a lot of health and he shoots these things, and half the time your weapons don't hit. I don't think Junk Shield will even hit his eyes. Yeah. So, Freeze Cracker, go! There we go. Also, I want to point out, his name was Cece. The manliest truck of all. I'm not scared of you. You're little, like, Zaku's. I just killed Cece the killer truck. Okay, now there is a quick kill on this boss. I'm not sure I can do it, but we're gonna try it. Ah, now see, that would have actually done it too. Alright, screw it. I want to die, just because I want to see if I can do it. So the deal is, the Noise Crush ricochets off walls and returns to you, and if you absorb it, you can, how many lives do we have? Because I want to test this. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get this, because I've always wanted to. Noise Crash ricochets off walls. You absorb it, you get a charged version of it, which no longer ricochets, but it does more damage. The thing is, if you shoot one while you're entering the room, he'll drop to the ground with like 0 health, and he'll start gaining health, but then the thing will ricochet off the wall behind him and kill him. No, that was not it. I'm fine with dying a bunch of times. I've got energy cans, so I will test this till my final life if I need to. Also, this guy's a little tricky if you don't have his weakness. He's actually pretty easy if you have his weakness, but if you don't have his weakness, he's a little bad. But I really want to see if I can do this, because I've never actually successfully done it. Nope, that wasn't it. Like, that's the thing, you have to hit it the exact moment you hit that door. That's the thing, even if I run out of Noise Crush or whatever, I can take this guy out because I've got the energy cans if I really need help. So I don't really worry about gaming over too much. But I want to see if I can do it, because, you know, it's fun to explore neat things about games you like. Nope. Crap. How many lives do I have left? Unfortunately, I get one more shot because this is a game where 0 counts as a life. And if this doesn't work well, it's sad, but, you know. There's always next playthrough. And the thing is, you can't do this the second time you fight him because you just teleport in. There's no transition. Okay, let's try it one last time. No. Oh well, I got a free charge out of it. I would really have loved to do that, but I can't, I guess. I managed to do it with the charge, which is the sad thing, because like the charge won't ricochet and won't accomplish it. Now, that's what makes him actually kind of scary, even if you have his weakness weapon, is he hits you and then flings you into the wall behind him, where you basically get hit a second time. There you go. That's how you beat Turbo Man. Now, I find his weakness kind of quizzical, because he's weak to sound, but he's got like a big heavy engine on him the entire time. So you'd think he would kind of, sort of like the mini-boss we started with, who will react to if you use the Noise Crush attack. You would think he wouldn't be as sensitive to sound as that. You would think it would do nothing to him. I'm not suggesting that he has a gaining ability from being hit by it, sort of like if you use Ice on Freezeman, who heals with it, but he should at the very least have... Yes, we've been attacked because, gasp, something happened. Because it turns out our bestest buddy, Bass, didn't like the proposition of a pizza party. Instead, he just decided to take all of our super adapter parts that we already have anyway, and make off with it. Now, that's the thing, though. I think what they were trying to say is he was making better super adapter parts than the ones we already have, because Bass's super adapter can fly. Ours gets a crappy double jump. And his looks a lot better, but that's also because Treble is cooler than Rush, and Bass just has a nicer design than Mega Man. He's stylish, even though his helmet sort of looks like Wily's hair a little bit. Spoilers. Yes, yes, Bass and Treble use enhancements meant for Mega Man, cause reasons. Okay, so I have 0 lives right now, which means I'm gonna go to, what was it, Slash Man stage, get the power-up, die, get full lives on that, go back to Shade Man stage, get the power-up we missed there, and, Wily's here, by the way. I think before that you could select that thing and it would take you to the store. Now you can do it anyway, you just have to press select instead. I think you could use select anywhere else and it would take you to the store. But, now the center part is reserved for Wily. But we get to revisit these nice levels that still look and sound quite nice because the music in this game's nice. The visuals in this game are nice. It's just a nice game, and people need to respect it more. Yeah, it's not Mega Man X, it's not Mega Man on the NES, it's Mega Man 7. That's what it is. Respect. I'm gonna try and get that energy can. Screw it, I'm gonna make it. I need redemption for dying after getting that energy can the first time. Pew pew pew! Okay. Jump. Shoot. Jump and shoot! That's what he does. Also, Rocket Punch now. Pooh! Although that could be more of a hindrance than a help. Because that Rocket Punch, you can get it into a position where it'll circle Mega Man, and it just won't return to him, and that's terrible. Bum, 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 la, 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 la. Good music. Okay, we use Thunderbolt on this guy. Shoot, and 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 shoot. And shoot, and shoot, and shoot, and shoot, and shoot, and shoot, and dead. Health. Gonna drop anything cool? Nope. I don't really need Super Adapter right now, but we'll equip it for the 2 seconds of use we're gonna get out of it. Now, as Proto Man said all the way back in Cloud Man stage, burn down the forest. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And I like that really burnt up looking snake. Now you're probably asking, why are you being mean to trees? Because that ladder's there and I couldn't find it. Because my super adapter skills were just not on point. Okay. It's our old pal, Beats. I can't remember what you have to do to break him free. I think you just have to charge shot him. There we go. And then Beat will just fly around looking kind of dopey. And he'll leave. And you'll notice we now have these things above our energy balance and our rocket punch that look like Beat. Those are Beat whistles. Essentially, every time we fall into a pit, Beat will come pick us up and try and fly us out. Exit. Okay, now we need to go to Shade Man stage. Because there's one more thing we still need to collect. And unlike every other dumb thing we could collect by paying money at a store for some reason, this thing we can't actually do that. We actually have to go earn it. And the thing is, I'm not really sure it's all that useful, and it's even less useful because you have to get to this point to get it anyway, so the amount of time it would have been useful is severely reduced. But it's a thing to collect, damn it. This one will fall over. This one will fall over. This one will fall over. I remember they go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I like those eyes in the background. God, this game is so pretty. I don't even care that this game is like, what, at this point, 20, probably almost 25 years old at this point. This game's just nice. Homing Rocket Punch. It's a good upgrade. Alright, now we need Thunderbolt. Because, as you'll recall, it's our old friend Punky. Punky the Pumpkin. Whoop. Come on, Pumpkin. Let's go. Now, as I mentioned when we first fought this guy, there's 2 ways we could fight him. with his shell closed and his shell open. You'll notice he broke the right wall. Well, now he's going to destroy this really ropey looking floor beneath us. Boop. Now, I found this area when I was a kid, but nothing happened here. And nothing happens here until you fight Proto Man. Or until you find Proto Man twice, then you fight Proto Man. And it's not like you're locked out of this room. You can enter at any point. And also, now there's hostile music from Proto Man. Because now he's Hostile Man. Because Secret Boss. He's not much more difficult than he was in Mega Man 3. He just has a wider repertoire. That said, he also takes a bunch more damage, and he has a few new tricks up his sleeve. That said, I've got energy cans if I really need them, so... Now, I know it looks like I'm charging my Buster to do more damage when it's blue instead of yellow. That's actually not doing more damage. That just makes the shot marginally bigger. I can take another hit. Take another couple of hits, actually. I'm a little worried about taking some damage. There it is. Didn't even have to use an energy can. I'm better than I thought I was, but not by much. No, you're better. Take my place, please. You're the best character in the series, damn it. Yeah, he gives us our shield. From him, making it the Mega Shield now. Now this weapon, as shown in that fight, blocks oncoming small arms fire towards us, which is good. While we're moving, it covers our back and does not actually cover our back. Even though it's on our back, it does not deflect stuff from behind us. But we can still use our Buster, and we can still charge it, which is nice. So basically, it's the Mega Buster, but slightly better. Now, I know what you're thinking. Above Super Adapter and below Scorch Wheel, there's an empty slot. What goes there? Well, nothing. The people who made the menu to this game are kind of inept like that. Now, I don't recall which button goes to the shop, so we might end up going to Wily instead of the shop. Let's roll that dice. Ah, we went to the shop. Okay, cool. Now we can spend all those useful bolts on things that we honestly don't need. But, you know, that's the point of the shop. Waste money on stuff you don't need. Now, we didn't go to the shop prior. Originally, Otto would say, hey, this is the shop, spend bolts here. And by the way, if you found my Hyper Bolt, if I could get that back, I could make some better stuff for you, and maybe even give you a discount for being such a great guy. Well, also, he's very much a Japanese robot, for what it's worth. But, yeah. Now he can make some new stuff, including the Super Adapter upgrades. I think the beat whistles, you could see them before, but you couldn't ever buy them, even if you had beat. As well as, I want to say, let's see, the Rocket Punch. I don't think you could build the Super Can or the Energy Balancer either. No, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Give me a Super Can. Yeah. I can't have another Super Can. Okay, now, we could make some weapon cans, but that's not super useful, so we're just gonna get lives, I guess. Because we don't really need much else. But before this, lives were something like, I want to say 50 bolts instead of 20. So stuff costs about half of what it used to. And we're full on energy tanks, so it's literally just lives or weapon cans, and we don't really need weapon cans at all. And we now have no bolts. We are now broke. I know the feeling, Megs. Alright, let's go fight Wily. Now, while I like to think I know this game pretty well, these levels kind of scare me. Now, one thing that I've always been curious about is it the blinking dot that you're going to the level you're doing? Is it the path that's being created on that map screen? Is that the level you're going to? Or is it the dot you start at that's being going to? Like, I've never understood those, like, the visual design that's supposed to impose on you in terms of progression. Like, what's the start and end point on these? Really, is it? It's such a small thing. I think they reused the this particular background, like the mountains and the clouds, in X2 for the final stages. And this level's actually got a really good soundtrack, but... Can we climb that? Yes, we can. Because that's why you get the super adapter. Now, I'm actually kind of generally a little scared of these stages, because I don't remember them all that well. I kind of remember some of the bosses. I remember the last boss for sure, because the last boss was nightmare-inducing for the longest time. I wonder if Rush Coil can take me up there. Let's find out. Nope. I don't think I can actually get that. Come on, Rush. I remember this room. Mainly because it was dumb. Alright, there we go. I'm surprised at how well that guy jumped. Right. Now things get a little hairier. Although, actually, I could probably just rush Jet over all this nonsense. And you know, in all my years of playing this game, I have never thought to do that. And that would be why. Hey, cameo by Beat, actually doing his job. That's the thing, he's not very strong, can't carry it very long, so he still kind of sucks. Still, you know, I found a value for Beat. I'm actually kind of shocked, because Beat was actually really awesome in Mega Man 6. Because he was basically just a homing thing that would attack every enemy in the game. It was awesome. There's an energy tank. Don't need it. And I think this is only the halfway point in this fight, yep. So, here's Bass. Again, standing tall, not hunched over, looking noble and majestic and being a badass. I really love Bass's sprite. But he fights basically the same as he did in the first level, except now the terrain's a little different. And he charges his buster a little better, and he jumps around a little bit more. He doesn't actually stand in place while jumping, though. We can't actually kill him, though. He only goes to 1 health. Because then Mega Man 8 wouldn't have happened, and oh, the tragedy. Even though Capcom likes to not acknowledge Mega Man 8 as ever happening, hence why they keep giving us the crap version. Ugh. Okay, here's the actual boss. Now, if I recall, his weakness is Slash Claw. And this will tie back to an earlier thing, which is the return of our old pal Gutsman. He got tank treads and a claw. And this will actually do a lot of damage. Ow. And I actually did that really badly. Crap. Okay. I gotta stop kidding around. Now he'll drop that. And then I'll slash it. And that'll kill that. I actually don't know how to jump over that. I think you can slash claw that boulder back at him. It actually does quite a lot of damage if you can do it. Like that. Yep, that's how you do it. Ow. Okay, fair enough, Gutsman. You played that one well. But you're also dead. And I cut your arm off. Because continuity of how I beat you. I don't know if his arm falls off if you beat him other ways, but I know his arm falls off if you cut him. Okay, that's the first level. Now we go to the second level, which is at the core of the complex. It's weird, because, like, the skull is the end result. That's where Wily is. Why is he just hanging out at the side? Why isn't he in the middle of the place? I mean, I guess it would be obvious to think that the main villain would be hiding in the middle of the main villain's fortress. So let's put him like 2 feet towards the entrance, just behind a very basic looking wall, and no one will ever bother to look there. There's logic to that, I suppose. God, I love that guy's sprite. This game is just full of so many pretty sprites. I know I've said that a bunch, but it's true. Like, even these guys, the shield face guys, they're way more ornate than, like, the previous iterations of guys that were basically like that. And guys that would come after it. And maybe this game is trying too hard with its designs, but I think it succeeds. I don't know which one of these is the right one to go up. I'll go up this one. Pew! Dead. Because Rocket Punch! Oh. Here we go again with Bass, who is once again basically weak to the Super Adapter. But this time he calls his buddy Treble in, who is way cooler than Rush, and proves it by turning into a way cooler Super Adapter that can actually fly. And this version of Super Bass, or Hyper Bass or whatever, because I don't think he's technically super, because Mega Man's super and he can actually fly. Now what's actually interesting is this level isn't entirely one screen, like it scrolls like that, but there's not really much of a reason to stay off the ground. And if you actually go up there, you're really playing into Bass's hands because he can fly and he has mastery over that domain, so it's actually easier if you just stand on the ground and just charge punch him. Done. And his wings disappeared very briefly. Yeah, you can't defeat me, because I'm the super fighting robot Mega Man! Yeah! Mega. Alright, this is a reuse of Cloudman's background, but it's much uglier looking. Oh, and Slinky Man's springs are here, because those were fun the first time we had to deal with it. The nice thing is, there's no, like, instant death spikes to fly into if you get hit by a spring, so, you know, small victories, I guess, but it's not much better. Now, if I recall, the boss we're about to go fight is really dumb. It's more of these things. The nice thing is, this thing can let you basically skip this entire area. Or not skip it, rather, but it lets you basically jump past everything that could be a challenge. Because this is basically just a standard platforming challenge when I've got a double jump. So, I mean, there's points where this game definitely just says, okay, you've got the Super Adapter, fine, we'll make an area just for you. But it feels like they kind of said, oh, you got the Super Adapter, well, sorry, I guess you wasted your time. You look cool, and it's going to be super nostalgic for your kid's self, but, yeah, not that great. Okay. Welcome to Spikes. Now again, I've got a double jump. I don't really need to do anything to get around that. Okay. If I recall, this guy's weakness is either Danger Wrap or the Wild Quail. Or I think maybe both. I think there's a trick with Danger Wrap. It's a turtle. He shoots fire. He does that. He's kind of mean. He's a mean turtle. This guy I might use an energy tank on just because. Yeah, I think that's what you gotta do to do more damage to him, is you have to encase one of the little baby turtles, and I'm gonna use an energy tank. I'm not really worried about running out of them. But that said, he's also weak to Wild Coil, if I recall, so that's not that big a deal. And we want to do that, and then do that. Yep, that's how you do it. Whoop, whoop. And he's also weak to Wild Coil, so I'll start charging this up. And then I'll swap to Danger Wrap again. Whoops. Oh, well. I wonder why they're numbered. Oh, I'm out of danger wrap. Okay, wild coil it is. Pew! I hate this weapon. Mainly just because it's awkward. It's just not a fun weapon to use. Especially if you don't know, like, the height modification thing, because what they tell you is just plain wrong. And I said this before, but they say hold it down longer to charge it so it jumps higher, and it kind of does, but really what you want to do is hold up while you're charging it, and then it releases to jump higher for some reason. But that's level 2. I want to say there's 2 more, because unlike other Mega Man games, there's not like a second fortress or like a hidden, like 3 extra levels after where Wily's supposed to be. Very straightforward. But if that is the path that we're taking, then there's actually a split in it. And if I recall, there is a split in this game, so I can't quite remember what split we want to take. But, you know, figure it out as we go. Whoop! Jetpacks! Because jetpacks are awesome. Pew! Alright. Let's go, Mega Man. On 2 awesome looking Sniper Joes. It's like my birthday or something. Woo! Okay, here's where we definitely want the super adapter for that second jump. Because we don't have the ability to freeze the ground, which I never did show, and I kind of feel bad about that. Now, we know there's a Met over here, so we know there's at least ground over here. Again, more of these awesome blue guys that I like. Life. How many lives do I have? Oh, good, I've maxed. I probably maxed a while ago, actually. I bought a bunch of them. Now these guys are kind of scary because they could recoil me into a pit if I jump at them midair. Now these are unique to this level, but they are basically the things from Burstman stage. I'm kind of surprised I could fit through there. I guess we're taking the upper path. Jet. Oh god. I don't think I've ever actually taken this path. This is exciting for me. Rush Jet, go! Just wait, a block is going to appear inside me. Hey, that was actually pretty beneficial to us. I got a weapon can. I got another energy tank to replenish the one I wasted. Is there anything over here? Nope. Just going straight down. And I guess this is where the paths converge. Holy crap, I never knew this guy was here. I've seriously never taken this path before. This is exciting! Learning more about my favorite Mega Man game. Okay, now this boss, I want to say, was weak to Slash, which is less than ideal. I think he's also weak to Noise Crush, maybe, but I think Slash will do more damage just because it's the more awkward weapon. It's a giant face. Now, what's neat about this guy is not that attack. Or that attack. It's these attacks, actually, but I can't. Let me take advantage of it, damn it. Do I have to Super Mega Man my way through this? I will. Because you can see, he kind of, yeah, you can jump on the missiles, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to jump on the missiles, then stab him in the eyes. I might have to use that energy tank again. Yup, gonna E-tank it. And it's more out of, I don't think I'm gonna find too many uses for an E-tank after this, so. Yeah, and it's constantly scrolling, so it doesn't feel like you have even footing at any point. There, you're dead. And I think now we're on the last level. Okay, so let's try and take out this last level. This last level is kind of why you'd want a weapon tank. Again, I'm assuming this is the last level because I don't remember another level after this. But that upper path, that was exciting. I've never taken that path before. That was neat. Alright, so here we go. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. I actually thought this would take a lot longer, honestly. I figured it would be like 3 hours for me to get here. I guess I need to give myself a little more credit. Life. Bolts. None of which I actually need at this point. Okay. Now we come to the staple of every Mega Man game ever, which is teleporting hatches, which will make us re-fight Robot Masters. Again, he makes his ice cool entrance. That's the word I was thinking of. Where did I get reference from? Brains are funny things, and mine doesn't like to work a lot. Now again, Junk Shield is great because even when you're completely trapped from this guy's attack because he freezes the ground, he'll just walk into you and take damage, and you're basically completely fine. This weapon is so good. Needs more love. Come on. Junk Shield lovers unite. Okay. This is... Oh god, it's this guy. Okay. Ice on this guy. Turn him into Sonic. And for what it's worth, I think he actually just despawns when he goes up there, so you can't actually hit him while he's up there, because he's not actually up there. Also, I like the big, it's really hard to see, but if you can find a sprite of him while he's frozen, he has just like a big, goofy, almost like horrified eyes that this happened to him. He's like, no! How did I get frozen? This is unconceivable! That's how inconceivable it is. We need to invent a new word that tells us how inconceivable it is. I think you even see like a giant, like, frightened grin on his face or something like that. Like, he just cannot believe that he's been frozen and that someone would dare, in fact, to use one of the original 4 Robot Masters weapons against him, because everyone's supposed to think it's Scorch Wheel, but it's not. I'm gonna guess Thunderbolt, but I don't know who it is. That's a good guess. Alright, we're fighting Junkman. Again, love this guy's design. I love that his entire body's basically held together by magnets, because when you hit him with electricity, he just sort of uncouples. He literally reminds me, and I'm just thinking about this now, he's literally like one of those old golems. That just, as soon as like the magic that holds him together is gone, he just kind of falls apart. I love it. I want to say this is Shade Man. Oh, Cloud Man. Huh. I kind of thought it would be like the first 4 on the left, the last 4 on the right. I'm a little surprised about that. Okay, we're going to try and juggle him, because we can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, easiest Robot Master ever. I don't need your pity health. You're Cloudman. Okay. Once again, gonna guess Shade Man. Slinky Man. Alright. We're gonna try and juggle this guy too. See if I can do it. One. Oh, nope. I missed. 2. I got him a second time. Nope, could not juggle him that time either. Nope. It's kind of hard to get the rhythm down because it's really precise. You'll either be too low for his jump, or he'll still be invincible. So timing that attack is a little tricky. Alright, let's go. I'm going to guess Burst Man. Oh, it's this guy, who I couldn't quick kill because I'm bad. Fine. Next. Okay, now, of course, because we're doing gauntlet matches, it's actually kind of important that I don't get too much damage from this guy. And it's really the timing, because there's like an extra revving up sound effect he makes before he takes off, and that's what always trips me up. And no, you can't hit him while he's in car mode. But he's dead. Okay. Well, it's either Shademan or Burstman. Shademan! This game is just so determined not to give me Shademan. Alright, fine. But you know, the joke's on you, Burstman, because as tricky as you are, I have your actual weakness now. He even gets a unique animation when he gets hit by it to prove it's his actual weakness. Now what's neat is you can kind of hold the Scorch Wheel around you like a shield for a little while too. So it has its value. Not like this guy's Danger Wrap. You can drop bombs sometimes, maybe. Oh, crap. But you know, I still have your other not weakness. And you're dead. That was a little scary. I was taking a one-way trip to Spiketown. Okay. Now, if this isn't Shademan, something has gone horribly wrong. Okay. Alright, Shademan, let's go. I'm just testing out stuff now. I really should just, you know, actually try and fight this guy instead of testing spring shot techniques. Okay, you're dead. Now, if I recall, this pretty much chucks us straight towards the final fight, which is less than ideal. Ah, crap. Okay. Again, we haven't used Proto Shield at any point, and that's because Proto Shield is not all that useful. It's just sort of like a nice little Easter egg bonus. We'll go Thunderbolt, because I know we need that too. That's sort of the problem with getting instantly chucked into the final boss, is you don't have the sort of luxury of having your stuff refill through the level transition because you're still in the same level. Now the nice thing is, I'm pretty sure no matter what, as long as we don't start a different level, no matter what, if we game over or whatever, we will pretty much be instantly back here. This guy's a little annoying, but he's not that hard. He's weak to Thunder. So make like Lionel and start yelling Thunder a whole bunch to make your sword grow. This move sucks because he's slow and he's got these little guys, and you can kind of ignore him a little. I think the point of these guys is that they drop energy in case you need it. Now, it's not over, and that probably surprises no one who's ever played Mega Man before. Now this Wily fight, though, is like historically one of the worst. So I'm gonna try and show a trick that'll make it a little easier. Now his weakness is of course this, because it's the most awkward thing ever. And remember, charge and hold up if you want to make this jump super high to hit him in high places. Like that. Now when he gets hit, he will discharge orbs. And these orbs can come in yellow, which is electric power, white, which is ice and can freeze you, and red, which is fire and can burn you. And if I recall, yeah, they sort of, They shift direction once they're in flight, which actually makes dodging them really tricky. Now, I'm swapping to Thunderbolt because the moment you hit him with that, he discharges lightning and then resets his pattern. And if you do it right, you can, well, basically skip all this nonsense. Like that. I just skipped his 4 orb shot, which is by far his worst attack. And if you can do that, he's easy. It just becomes a matter of aiming the Wild Coil, which is kind of awkward. And sometimes he'll be in a place where you can't hit him like that. Now the problem is, if you can't hit him, he does discharge electricity anyway. You're just sort of preemptively doing it. Now, you could swap with the shoulder buttons, but given the exact precise timing of this, it's not recommended you do. Now again, he's too high up for me to actually hit him with lightning, so I just gotta take the damage, which sucks. But I don't think they really planned on you being able to hit him twice. Again, he's too high up. And those orbs, they're just annoying because they swap flight trajectories like twice. Again, Wily not being very nice to me. I think the best ones to get hit by are the electric orbs, for what that's worth. Because if you get hit by the electric ones, it's just damage. Whereas fire, it's continuous damage. If it's ice, it's damage plus being frozen, plus you take the lightning damage he shoots out afterwards. Right there. And again, evading those bolts of energy is really the tricky part, which is why you try and hit him with lightning every chance you can, just to get around it. But, you know, I'm getting pretty good at it. I didn't think I'd have this much luck. I figured I'd be down on, like, 0 energy tanks at this point. Boom. And that's the end of Mega Man 7. My most rented game when I was a kid, my favorite Mega Man, and yeah, it might not be the NES ones, but it's not trying to be. It's trying to be Mega Man 7. I will leave you with the end credits that were actually cut from the Anniversary Collection. And I hope you enjoyed this. You might want to follow my Twitch and also my YouTube channel so that you can see more videos like this. And maybe support me on Patreon if you want to see more awesome stuff so that I can afford to make more awesome stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.